Endocrine system. All right, talking about the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland located at the base of the brain, and it is inferior to the hypothalamus and anterior to the brainstem. Now, it is a small pea-sized gland that consists of two main lobes, the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. The pituitary gland is often referred to as the master gland because it regulates activities of other endocrine glands by producing hormones like the growth hormone, prolactin, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and thyroid stimulating hormone TSH. Now it goes to the thyroid gland. Now the thyroid gland is the gland here located in your anterior neck, and it has these two lobes that kind of extend laterally and around your trachea, and it comes together at a point called the isthmus. And it's a butterfly shape. Yeah, it's like a butterfly shape, and these lobes so they look like a butterfly. Also, it contains follicular cells that produce thyroid hormones, the T3 and T4. And they're responsible for regulating metabolism, controlling body temp, and heart rate. Move on to adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are right there, the green, and they're a pair of glands that are located superior to each kidney. So there's one found on each, and it looks like kind of a cloud over here. So these adrenal glands consist of a cortex, outer cortex, and inner medulla. The outer cortex both produce hormones. The outer cortex produces the steroids, like cortisol or the stress hormone, and then the inner medulla produces adrenaline. And together they're responsible for are involved in the fight or flight response or stress response, metabolism, and then electrolyte balance, because the cortex releases also mineralocorticoids, aldosterone, which also regulates electrolytes. Pancreas. Okay, pancreas. The pancreas, or the endocrine portion of the pancreas, is called the islets of Langerhans. And the islets of Langerhans is embedded within the pancreatic tissue and located deep in the abdomen, posterior to the stomach. And they're like little clusters of cells scattered about the pancreas, but they secrete either insulin to lower your blood sugar or glucagon to raise your blood sugar. And then the hypothalamus, I'll go back to that. The hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, they're like a pair. They work hand in hand. They have a very special relationship because the hypothalamus has a critical role in regulating the pituitary gland, which in turn controls other endocrine glands. And so the hypothalamus produces releasing and inhibiting hormones that signal the anterior pituitary to release its own hormones. So, for example, the hypothalamus secretes corticotropin releasing hormone, which triggers the pituitary to release adrenocorticotropic hormone, and then that stimulates the adrenal cortex to release cortisol. Crazy. So all in all, they work they serve as your brain's central command center to control vital body functions. The primary, so there's disorders. So it's very important to understand and differentiate the different endocrine disorders. Because if one is considered a primary disorder, that just means that the problem originates within the target gland itself. Like if there's a problem with the thyroid, it's the thyroid gland. If there's a problem with So if a secondary disorder occurs when the pituitary gland, it always is the pituitary gland, fails to produce the right hormones to stimulate the target gland. So the secondary is a problem with the pituitary, the primary is a problem with the actual target gland or the actual gland itself, and then there's tertiary, and that stems from a hypothalamic dysfunction. It's always going to be the hypothalamus. That is the root of it. Like it didn't do its job. Secondary, the pituitary, there's a dysfunction within the pituitary, they didn't do its job. And then the primary. So you need to know those to know what you're working with, to know how to treat.